You can either have it one of two ways. You can have peace of mind, or you can give people a piece of your mind. And if you're giving people a piece of your mind, then that means that you're letting the enemy use your idle mind.
In nature, you have fresh water, you have salt water. But in those deltas between a river and an ocean is what's called brackish water. It's a mix of fresh water and salt water. And it's a real thing. And so only certain creatures can live and abide in that place.
So I guess what I was trying to draw the coalition between was that a man with a vision is easier or more likely to have a woman that's willing to submit. And a lot of women don't submit because they don't know where you're going. Mm-hmm. So he's like, well, she would submit to me. He's like, you ain't going nowhere. Why would I submit to that?
The source only makes ice. See, the resource helps serve the ice. We're the servers. We're the servers. We don't make, we serve.
What's more important, to gain that influence, or for someone to know that you're smarter than you, for someone to downplay somebody. So it's just the art of letting things go, especially for me. That's been really hard to do. So this week, or since the last time we spoke, I've really been practicing being wrong. You know what I mean? That sounds funny, but I strongly encourage you to practice being okay with being wrong, even when you know you're right.
Most creatures have to figure out how to either get in one or get in the other. They you know what I'm saying? Like, it's rare that you see people trying to even trying to breach. Think about an animal trying to breach into fresh water from salt water. Like the metamorphosis and the change that has to happen, like that's crazy. That's powerful though.
She's using a non-traditional method to invest her time and create more money. You know what I mean? Are there any other non-traditional investment opportunities out there?
Tons of them, right? It's all about what you know, right? One of the key investments I made, right? So me having a background in mechanics and being good with my hands fixing things, I bought a car off of Facebook Marketplace for $400. The lady was selling the car. She was a lead. She was in real estate we call her a motivated seller, right? She's a motivated seller. She would sell her car, right? I bought her car for $400. Changed the brakes on it. Cleaned it, vacuumed it, shined it up, sold that car for $1,200 a couple days later.
So now I'm having to shift things and look at, okay, what else can I do in order to make sure that I'm okay? And it's very hard. It's very hard.
Absolutely. No one that serves wants to be deemed as selfish.
But most animals get rejected. Like, they get to that brackish water and it start to get choppy and they're like, nah, bro, I ain't ready for that life. And they bail. It's so much, not only is the water different, but the currents are different. How the water flows there is different. It's a whole different ecosystem that flows there.
Because I know, for me, I used to want to always go into a room and be the smartest person in the room. And then I realized it wasn't doing anything for me. I was constantly pouring out, but I was never receiving. You know what I mean? So now I go into the room and I look to learn and not necessarily be the dumbest one in the room, but just the least experienced in the room. You know what I mean? So I love it, brother. I love it.
In this time, in this season, and the new things that I'm seeing out on the streets with the new level of desperation, the new level of just the new level of trauma that these people are going through with the weather. It's very new to me. And I would read, I would watch The Office, I would sleep. But right now, at the level that I'm serving, at the level that I have been serving at, and the level of exposure that I'm having with this cold weather, there's more that I need to do and to make sure that I'm filled, to make sure that I'm okay, to check in with myself.
Is your prey even there? Can you eat there? Do you have to go without food until you cross over into fresh water? So much.
It's a whole new skill set, man.
You see what I'm saying? But it's a real thing. We all go through it. We all make that transition any time that we grow.
Because we're too afraid to step out the boat and step into the deep end with God. And
no different than what Peter did, no different than what any of us did prior to that.